Welcome back to Blaugrana Everything. Welcome back to FC Barcelona. Welcome back to La Liga and welcome into 2026 with yet another victory for FC Barcelona. And you just have to say what a performance it was on the night by that man in between the sticks, Joan Garcia, who looked larger than life, as they say. He looked bigger than Thibaut Courtois, the way he was making just, that extra effort to stretch out an arm and make some of those saves. And of course, you have to say as well, hats off here to Mr. Fermin Lopez, who decided, hey, you know what? I can make a big difference. 2 assists on the night. And of course, we need to talk about that first goal from Mr. Dani Olmo. Oof. Mamma mia, I guess is what I would say in Spanish, or is it madre mia? Whichever one it is. What a goal, what a finish from Dani Olmo. Very much Luis Suarez-esque, and Samuel Eto'o-esque. I remember Suarez scoring a goal like that against Real Sociedad, and Samuel Eto'o as well. He did it in the Champions League. I think it might have been against Udinese. If not, then maybe that was Werder Bremen. I don't really remember too well, but he did it as well, and it was the same kind of finish here. And man, I just have to say, when you look at this match and you see the result and you see who it was against, there might be some people who'll be looking at this game and thinking, typical La Liga fixture, typical Barcelona. Of course, they're going to beat Espanyol, but listen to me, this match was anything but that straightforward. You could even go as far as saying Barca did not deserve to walk away with 3 points from this game, and I wouldn't argue with that if not for the existence of a certain Joan Garcia, who was making his return to his old stomping ground. So you know what it was like for him? He was like, hey, I'm used to this already. Despite what the reception he got was, he was like, what? RCD Arena, stopping the opposition from scoring, getting us a crucial 3 points, being the guy who makes a difference. Bet I can do that. And that's exactly what he did here. And you just have to say, once again, without him on the pitch there, Barcelona does not get this win. They probably walk away here beaten, much like would have been the case against Rayo Vallecano as well. That was another match where, if you remember, it was really just down to Joan Garcia that Barcelona did not lose. And this time around, of course, it's down to Joan Garcia that they did not lose, but it's also down to, like I said, Fermin Lopez, Dani Olmo, and Robert Lewandowski that Barcelona did actually win. Of course, we should, of course, give some credit here as well to Lamine Yamal, who did have his participation in that second goal in particular. It was him who fed that wonderful ball into Fermin Lopez. And of course, the rest was just Fermin Lopez, like I said, deciding like, hey, I'm that guy. I come into this stadium, I'm that guy. Because last time he was here, of course, he scored. He scored the second goal. Of course, on that day, Barcelona secured the Liga with, guess what? Another 2-0 win, and guess what? Another golazo, which opened the scoring. So it looks like this might be how Barcelona do things now at the Espanyol stadium, which, hey, I'm not going to complain about that. But someone who probably will complain about that is whichever Madridista was watching this and, expecting to get a successful hate watch at the start of 2026. Sorry to disappoint, guys. You're starting 2026 the same way you ended 2025, which was with another failed hate watch against Villarreal. So what this means for Barca is, of course, temporarily there we go, 7 points clear as Real Madrid get prepared to go up against Real Betis, and whatever happens there, we really don't care. Focus now goes to Wednesday night, and Wednesday we're going to have that match against Athletic Club, and that's going to be in the Supercopa de España. So we're looking forward to see how all of that is going to go. But I should also just say at this point that I am honestly quite impressed with this team, even though I did say that the only way I saw Barca winning this match tonight was if somebody just did a madness, and that's exactly what we got, Fermin Lopez, Dani Olmo, the boys went crazy, all right? They went crazy. Barcelona got a 2-0 win. And despite all of that, though, much respect to the team, much respect to Mr. Hansi Flick as well, for the way that I wasn't really sure about some of the substitutions that he made. I felt like Rafinha probably should have stayed on and played on the left, and either one of Olmo or Fermin should have been, the one who sat on the bench while the other one comes on. And obviously that was wrong, because the two of them linked up to bring the goal. So, much respect to Barcelona today. it wasn't so much that we had defensive errors this time around. It was just that, Espanyol did their homework. There's a reason why I'm saying you could argue Barca didn't deserve to win this game. Espanyol did their homework, they did their work, and I'm only just hoping that none of the big teams in Europe are watching this match and taking notes, because let's be honest, if that's a Haaland, if that is, just a Harry Kane instead of the Roberto guy who was on Espanyol's, front line, if that's them going 1v1 and trying to take it around the goalkeeper, there won't be a chance for Joan Garcia to recover in that situation. They'll probably take him out on the equation, though, just probably just, Mr. Mbappe's little, they'll probably just dink it over him. Anywho, other than that, let me know your thoughts on the performance, on the result, and what you feel about what we could see from Barca this year. Personally, I do think there was some, red flags here and there in this performance, but we did get the win, and we're just going to stay focused here. We're going to stay focused on the positives, because that's what we're doing in 2026, and we'll wait until it gets bad before we talk about the negatives. No, we won't do that. We'll talk about it later. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. But aside from that, I thank you all for tuning in. Do have a great day, and Forza Barca.